Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Alive. And I wanted to do a random chat. I usually have talk energy right after I finish yoga. Oftentimes I'm really peaceful and quiet, but at the same time it's about the only time of the day where I want to talk. And it's interesting how I used to think I'm very chatty up until I started shooting videos, and I realized I have windows of chattiness and I gotta jump on it. So I wanted to talk about happiness in terms of practicality or simplicity or even roots yoga. I just finished shooting one of the roots yoga classes, the third one, and it is ginger root, because roots are really, for me, a new realization actually, and foundational in finding happiness. Observing roots allows us to get grounded, and getting grounded allows us to really go deep in the core, in the roots, in the sacral guru, in our finding our own authenticity and even deeper voice. So getting out of the chirpier tones and sinking deeper into the deeper voice. And because we have to find even our true voice literally, and also our voice in the world. And I wanted to speak about happiness. Something crossed my feed about depression and happiness, and I wanted to talk about finding happiness in practical terms. So not that Hollywood happily ever after type of happiness, or finding, Mr. Right and all the right conditions happiness, but literally finding that thing within you that binds the spiritual to the physical, and allows you to really download or be open to that downfall of grace into your life, which is what the ginger class was. So with happiness, I do feel, although the exact steps to happiness are different for every single person, but I wanted to speak about finding happiness through depression or anxiety, or all the other states that are the opposite, or precede happiness, or prevent us from being happy. I feel that they're very a necessary step towards happiness and on the path of finding ourselves. Me personally, as a teenager, I had long periods of depression, and even as an adult, I've had enough depression, and it's always been a guiding light for me. It's always been something that has taken me to a whole new vista, to a whole new place in life. So instead of resisting it and thinking it prevents you from being happy, it's actually really guiding you in becoming your true authentic self. Depression can be a form of quietness, taking a break so that you can really search within and find your path. With happiness, I find that the more I find a routine, a sense of purpose in my day, the happier I feel. The more I find grounding in the simplicity of the day, not the big stuff, not becoming some grand person, or my goals becoming grand, and not those things. Those are really tricky, but finding, and that's what I find with people that are very successful, especially people that their success is a lot of money or fame. It's really hard to maintain happiness unless they have really strong foundation and grounding. So in general, wherever your path is, I think having a strong foundation and grounding is so important. And the depression and the pain and the hard moments are really the teachers that really create that attitude later on in life, where we choose to be happy because of the small things, and we find the blessings in the things that normally we would miss. and not even notice. And getting grounded, feeding your body with the right nutrition, and the microbiome is where also can throw us off if we don't have the right microbiome in the gut. And that's all the root series. It's about the microbiome, and the earth is missing its own microbiome because of commercial farming has been waging war on earth. So it's a form of war on the soil and earth, which destroys the microbiome through chemicals and mechanical tilling and so forth. So building that microbiome can practically help us achieve happiness by building the gut. Speaking of microbiome, I want to show you my it's not sourdough, it's fruit yeast dough. It's rising. I'm gonna make donuts because the fruit yeast, soaking fruit in water, fruit water yeast, makes really sweet dough. So this is gonna be donuts, and I'm letting it rise a little bit, and then I'll make donuts, let them rise, and hopefully wish me lucky to work out. First donuts ever. And I just wanted to experiment. But speaking of microbiome, this is just millions of trillions of really of microorganisms working here. And then when you get them on your hands, when you work with the dough, it also builds flora on your hands and in your air. It's really beautiful. And this is air microorganisms. It catches it from the air, but also when we eat roots, we bring it into the body and we bring that earth energy. And I feel whoever, no matter who you are, one of the most important things in happiness is connecting to the earth and nature. Now for me, happiness, when you look at your chart, a north node in Virgo, in Virgo happiness has been really finding simplicity in the routine, just becoming very routine oriented and organized, something that I was the furthest thing from and resisted it with every cell in my body, because there's a Piscean South Node, Venus in Pisces. I find the artistic, the poetic, the floating around, the being untethered very much more inspiring. And you can be untethered completely, but that should be what connects you to the earth. So whatever connects you to the earth and grounds you in that even free way, grounding can completely free you. For me, routine and just the simplicity of life has given me far more peace, and that's reflected in my chart. So not just routine is not the answer for everybody. It could be traveling if you have Sagittarius North Node. It could be, if Pisces is your North Node, it could be disconnect from the routine and the mundane. So look at your North Node and see what you're supposed to be doing, and in simple terms translate it into your life. If you're younger than 33, you may not know what your North Node will look like when you get older. So don't even try to get anxious and try to figure it out. It will come about naturally as long as you are with an open heart and searching and learning and ready to experience life and be authentic and be your authentic voice, which is always a path. It's not an easy thing to be authentic. It's something that we have to learn and create intentionally. And I think that's what I wanted. I wanted to speak about happiness in terms of simplicity and getting grounded and finding the earth is our nurturer, mother, and a place of healing. And also simplifying things, remembering that one day we will all die. So the grand things really won't matter, but the small things, the daily things, the connection, the love, that will matter. The bigger things such as achievements and creating a big splash in society, those things I think will be far less important when I have glimpses of my bigger path or my continuing path past this earth. I always find so much solitude, peace, and nurturing energy in when I think about those quiet moments when I connect to a tree or to grass or to soil, or when I just read, or you know what I mean. It's those little things, and then those are the things that ground us, so the big things don't unearth us. That's what I wanted to speak about, pretty much. Nothing in particular. Just happiness in terms of simplicity, happiness in terms of connection, happiness in terms of authenticity, happiness in terms of understanding our nature better through the challenges and depression and sadness and the things that really made us rich as a soul. So North Node in your chart, look it up, look what sign it is in, what house it is in. House would tell you where you would express it, and what area in life you would express it, and the sign will tell you a lot about your purpose and really your happiness, because when we find our purpose, we really feel satisfied because we've achieved everything we want to achieve, and it can be a very, very unexpected thing. And because the North Node is the opposite of the South Node, and the South Node is the past and where we naturally are good at in our past, oftentimes we will resist the North Node for a long time. I really resisted all things Virgo for a really long time, didn't find any excitement in that, in finding schedule and practicality and being organized, and I still am very Piscean, but when I pause and just look at myself, I've become Virgo just somehow without realizing it, more Virgo. So I think with movies and comparing to other people, we always think that happiness is a little more splashy, but that's what I'm here to talk about or to tell you. It's really, happiness is absolutely the most, you'd never notice it in others other than finding their grounding in quiet energy. That will be the biggest cue in happiness. The capacity to give and share love, the capacity to be present, the capacity to accept and surrender. Those are really the makings of happiness, and those are the subjects of most of my classes. We always work on the character and on contemplation and concentration. And I feel that we continue, of course, every realization keeps building on each other as we get older. We never arrive at a complete realization or conclusion. God forbid conclusion. The only conclusion we can have is the big, deep truths of love as the binding force and the force that's woven throughout the entire universe. But everything else will keep shifting, and we will keep shifting dimensionally as we evolve through the trillions of years. So the other truths will keep changing, but the main building block of consciousness will continue. Should I speak a little more about? Recently, I heard someone criticizing yoga for it was someone born again Christian criticizing yoga as not being as being dangerous. And although I do agree that certain aspects of New Age can be trappy and dangerous, I definitely focus in my yoga on the aspects of yoga that are extremely healing. First of all, the body has to stay healthy and stretched and balanced and evened out. So that's a given. But I personally think that there is a problem when a person thinks that there is a conflict between their spirituality and moving, and maybe there is a conflict with certain types of yoga. He was criticizing the traditional types of yoga, and in general, traditional types of yoga, I'm not very familiar. Some of them maybe are very dogmatic and taking you away from the truth, or developing your Kundalini energy too fast, which I'm not about. But the way I do it, it's really to honor whatever you believe in and to just deepen you as a person and deepen your self-knowledge. So it's almost a combination of evening out the body, but also um, almost like a different version of therapy, psychotherapy. All right, Lottie is here. Namaste. I'll see you very soon.